Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I truly believe that we're all on some type of journey, whatever that might be. And it's ongoing, from the day you're born to the day you're not here anymore. It's a journey. There's different types of journeys. There's also something called a shamanic journey that can be very impactful and give you lots of insight on your life now and where you may be going in your journey. So we're going to learn more about that today, a lot more. She's an energy medicine healer, Reiki practitioner, and so much more. And Jessica Poretto joins us on the program. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, thank you. And this word shamanic, I'm going to put it out there.
Okay.
I believe when people hear this word, they hear sometimes demonic, and it's
Right. Yeah.
so far not that. And there's a lot involved in it. And I've never connected shamanic with journey, but even before we make that connection, shamanic, define it for people.
So shamanic, a shaman is a healer in the community. It actually started in, I want to say Mongolia, but in each different spot in the world, there's different shamans. They're medicine women or men who kind of journey into, I want to say, other worlds, maybe. They kind of go into their subconscious and go to different dimensions or different levels.
Okay. And when you say those dimensions, those levels, I understand that most of us are in the third dimension. Some of us are in the fourth. There could be some of us in the fifth dimension at this time. Is that way? I don't know a lot about it, but I'm wondering if when you say dimension, that's kind of what you mean.
Yeah, I would say, I guess I would call it worlds, but yes.
Okay.
Dimensions. Yeah. I'm not really familiar with the dimension thing too, but I guess we are the third or fourth dimension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think yet.
Trust me, I don't know a lot about it either. I'm just scraping the surface, but
yeah.
The more I hear about it, it seems to make sense. And it's really more of an awareness, and a heightened awareness if you go from the third to the fourth to the fifth. And that's all I got for you. So that's it.
Exactly. So shamans, they believe in the law of nature. They believe in using our elements and, different worlds like animals, plants, that sort, to find out, for healing, for, self-care. So people who meditate, it's a form of meditation. Basically, it is meditation. It's just being in the moment.
Gotcha. And then when we talk about the shamanic journey, when you connect the two of those together, if you're on that type of journey, what can you see? What can you feel? What can you experience?
So the first time I did it with my teacher, we did an animal spirit to see what my power animal was, just to kind of see, like, what your guides, what's around you. It almost feels like make-believe at the time. But then, that night when I went home, everything that I saw during the journey, I actually experienced. I saw the animal, on TV. Everything kind of fell into place. So depending on what you're looking to experience, you always go into a setting, which could be the mountains, the forest, the ocean. It's a safe place. It's where you start, and you just let your mind kind of create what's going on with you. And it's not really creating, because it's your subconscious. It works out as to be real. It just kind of lets you know things ahead of time, sort of, or even past.
I want to go back to what you said, Jessica, about the spirit animal, the power animal.
Yeah.
So when that was revealed to you, and then you said you went home and then you saw it on TV, was that just like a wow validation that it showed up, or what?
Well, usually I don't tell people this, but because it changes over time, you're a power animal. But at the time it was a panther. And I didn't realize that those are real. And living in Florida, those are very real. Mine was a black panther. And you don't see those, on TV, or you don't really hear about it. But that night on it was a commercial, actually, and it was for a Florida license plate. It wasn't a black panther, but it was a panther. So I said, isn't this interesting? Never seen it before. So, I kind of looked into what, the panther represents and how they have it, what they eat, their habitat. And I kind of got the gist of what it meant. So they're very, they're smart, territorial.
And that you feel that's you?
A little bit in
Yeah.
certain, yes, aspects.
Okay.
Very kind of timid, shy.
I want to go back to the fact that you were watching TV and then it shows up. Do you think it was a coincidence or not?
No such thing. There's
Yeah,
no such thing.
I got that's where I was going with that. I got
Yeah,
you.
no such thing. But my clients tell me the same thing. They're thinking to themselves, like, okay, this is fun. And some people really, really get into it because they're great at visualizing and, seeing themselves, like, I want to say third person. But some of them, the ones that are a little bit more, not so comfortable, they'll call me and they'll say, "You're not going to believe what I just popped up on my computer, and this is that," or a word, or and I just smile because it happens, pretty much every time, and it just makes you feel good.
I'm right there with you. I had something happen to me yesterday. So when I ask for signs from my mom, I usually get them, but I don't overdo it. It's like the genie in the bottle. I don't want
Yeah.
to, 3 wishes. So I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to overdo it. And it's been a while. So I was like, I got some stuff going on. I was like, Mom, send me a sign. Things are good. Just, that you're there, you're watching, you're listening. And I had the cable company come in and change out a modem to a faster modem. And they give you a password, right? And it's assigned. The password's assigned. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like two words that don't mean anything together. It's like weird. Like in my uh, last house, my password was Jade Spruce. All right, it's random. They just generate them randomly. So I lift up the modem yesterday right here, and there's 4 numbers, some letters, and then 2 numbers. The letters were my mom's name.
That's really cool.
You can't make it up. It's
You
like,
asked, you set an intention. They do listen. We have a whole crew around us, including our past loved ones. Our past loved ones usually aren't the ones that look out for us, though, in a way. Those are our spirit guides. But when you speak to them, like in prayer or how you did, um, they do. They let you know. They're always letting you know somehow.
hmm. And the numbers, I don't know what they represent. And I tried adding them up, moving them around,
What was
thinking
it?
about it. The what?
What
The
were
number.
they?
5382, and then her name, and then 52.
Okay. So two is, a union, duality, a pair. Five is it. Did you put them up? I know this sounds weird. Backwards, like upside down.
Not yet. I've been adding
Okay.
them, different
That's
sequences.
you're on the right track. That's how it's symbolic.
So if I were to take them and turn them upside down, and let's see if it resonates, maybe there's something there. So you're saying like reverse them around?
Mhm. And then add them to a single digit.
Hmm. I did that, didn't get anything, but I will tell you this: the 8 I see in Chinese numerology is very strong for me. I always remember the number 8. Gotta
Infinity.
think, gotta think deeper. I don't know, but I believe there's something there, and I'm
Yeah.
going to share. I'm going to win the lottery with that tonight. I
There
am.
you
I
you
am.
are.
I'm putting that out there. And by the way, I've already played. I played those numbers, all different sequences, used her
Yeah.
birthday, just all mix it all up and everything. $20. What I got to lose?
It's absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
There's something there, but I haven't figured out what it is. Because why, if I'm going to see her name, why am I seeing these numbers? It's not random. There's a
Not
reason, but I haven't figured out what they are.
it absolutely.
Yeah.
All of it.
Hmm.
So if you see a penny, if you see a feather, a song, it's usually them letting you know, "Hi, I'm here."
Yep.
It's all
Yep.
in sequence.
And you'll know when you know. Like sometimes people say, butterflies are a sign of, my mom or grandmother, whatever it might be. Okay, maybe. But when you feel it inside, like, oh, there's no denying that that's what that is. It, I believe that's what that really is.
It is. That's your gut
Yeah.
instinct. That's called our intuition. Never
Mm,
ever doubt it.
yeah, exactly. Back to shamanic journeys. What are some of the other things that you can see, you can pull from that? And how do you get on a journey like that?
So um, you can do it distantly, over the phone, over computer, or here in front of me. We just kind of get into a meditative state. Um, you relax, do a couple breathing, let your body almost float away, but still feel the presence of it. And then sometimes I'll use music, sometimes I won't, depending on the person. Some people have a hard time getting into that space with their head or visualizing. So we just put on light music and I'll talk and lead them either in a spot where we start off from, could be a circle, a square, a room, and then they open a door or they have to go to a lower world. So that could be a tree trunk, um, something that keeps you grounded. And then they
Mm.
open up to whatever they see. And I kind of just let them go from there. And sometimes if I'm very in tune with them, I will see the same. I don't say this during that they're doing it, but afterwards I'll see the same thing and I'll write it down while I'm going through it with them, the same place that they're seeing. So it's like we're there together. Because usually, like shamanic journeys, shamans will go in for people into the lower world without having the person go with them and then retrieve whatever it is that they're doing. I like to involve my clients because it's a practice of self-care and it helps them, you know, heal themselves and have not have me do it for them. So if
Wow.
you want to know, so your power animal, for instance, is it could be something that you lack. Maybe, you're not sure of yourself or you're too sure of yourself. So it's kind of a reminder of what's around you to kind of look at, study that animal. You might have the personality traits of it. You might need the personality traits of it. You can also find what your spirit guide is, which, for some people that, they don't want to know. And then there's a lot of people who do. You can find lost objects. It's like a remote
Mm.
viewing. If let's say you lost your keys and some people go in and look for it that way. Sorry.
Okay, so um, when we talk about the spirit guides, and we mentioned that in the past, and we just skimmed it before, how does that reveal your spirit guides?
So let's say you want to try it.
Totally.
Okay. All right. So take a couple deep breaths and visualize yourself in a meadow, anywhere that's comfortable for you. And as you walk along a path, you're going to see a tree in the distance. And you're going to go sit at the tree, down if you can, below the tree, and look around. Smell the air. Is it hot? Is it cold? Hear the birds chirping. What are you wearing? Are you have light clothes on? Are you in heavy clothes? Feel the grass or the stones beneath your feet. And as you're sitting there looking out, admiring, being at peace, you hear something in the distance, footsteps, or walking towards you. And as you can see, as it makes its way closer, it's a person. He or she is coming up to sit down next to you. This could be your spirit guide. You can ask, what is your name? What are you here for? He or she has something in their hand that they want to give you. As you take it, you look down, you study it, you ask why you need this particular object. And if there's one thing that he or she could tell you, one word or one feeling, what would it be?
Mm.
So as you make your way back, you can say goodbye. Sit down, back down at your tree. Get into your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Open your eyes, and
Weird.
so
Can
it
you?
goes in more depth into that. But that's like
But that already got me there.
so.
Um,
The first thing that came to your mind was the smells, the textures, the
totally. Um, can your spirit guide be somebody in your family tree?
yes. Um, it could be a yes, it could be part of your
Yes.
team. I call them teams because we have an angel and we have a spirit guide. And depending on where you're at in your life, your spirit guide might come and go. Different ones, but we always have our ancestors or our family. So we, have a crew. But yes, it can be.
Hmm.
Is that who you saw?
Uh, I saw my mom's dad. Never met him. Passed before I was born.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I didn't want to, saw a picture of him back in the day. I was trying not to because he popped in, then he popped out, and then was maybe somebody else a little fuzzy, but he kept coming back. And I'm like, I'm not trying.
No, no,
It kept, it just kept coming back and like random.
that's the first person that came to your mind.
There's no recent connection. There's no even past connection. It's not like came up in conversation, saw a picture, blah, 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 blah. Nothing. Nothing. It just he appeared. The hand and the object, I'm not clear on that. I'm going to joke and tell
No,
you that
please. Yeah.
he was holding a lottery ticket, and I'm not even kidding. And then I was like, stop. I'm in my brain, in my mind, I'm like, stop that, stop.
No, it's fine.
Um,
Hey, that's what's happening.
and
And
then
to,
I was thinking, when you do this, what they're holding in their hand, does it have to be an animate object? Can it be happiness?
yes, it could be
Okay.
anything that you just like the word with, if you do, you could just even sometimes just look, at a screen in your mind, a remote, just a blank screen. What do I need to know today? What is it that I'm missing out on? And whatever
Hmm.
comes up, it could be unicorn, it could be, it's I get some really it's important when I see how much progress people make because it like you've never met your grandfather. Um there's a reason for that. There could be something that maybe
Huh.
didn't know about him. And just by going back and thinking, okay, well, he had this on, he was wearing this, he handed me this. What does that mean now for me? And everything kind of it'll relate. I mean, does he resemble you? Does he resemble your daughter? His demeanor.
Yeah. Uh, no, but I will say that, and I don't know if there's a connection here or whatever. And I'm not trying to, people always say, well, you're just trying to look for it. No, I'm not. But he, if you Google back in history, remember Lindbergh's famous flight,
Yes.
took off, went transatlantic, blah, blah,
Yes.
blah.
Yes.
So he was a police officer, higher level at the time. And in the historic pictures that you see, it's him standing next to Lindbergh before the plane took off. And
Oh,
it's him because he had this trademark of always carrying a newspaper under his arm. And he's standing there.
wow.
And I think like, all right, we're talking about journeys, and he was at the beginning of that journey. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe the beginning of a journey. I will tell you this, and this is, I'm transparent. I got nothing to hide. My parents got divorced when I was very young. My dad passed when I was 21.
Okay.
I'm finding out recently that I have potentially through ancestry DNA a half sister,
Okay. Well, yes.
and she would have been 5 when he passed, and she never knew her father, and her mother never really wanted to talk about it. And I literally started texting with her yesterday, and we started sending pictures back and forth. Um,
Oh my
and
goodness.
and I'm
That's
like, I I can't see who else could be her father because of the numbers that come back through ancestry DNA. because I
Mhm.
look at a cousin and the cousin is like half the number. She comes back like double and then some. And, it or it could be a brother, my dad's brother, but the number wouldn't be that high because then it would make her a cousin. And then it would
Right.
be a number lower, like my cousin, my dad's sister, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
So
unless they were related and, you know, like back in the day, they first cousins would, but I doubt it. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
numbers don't lie.
I don't know. But I'm just like just looking at pictures and just sharing some stuff and weird.
That how you found was that it was on Ancestry.
Yeah.
So recently I had a client who came in for a reading, and I didn't know how to go about that because I saw that in, her reading, and she was talking about, she has all these siblings, her sisters. And I happened to, share something at the end with her, letting her know that she has a brother. There's more. And she didn't say anything to it. And she was really, she's like, I doubt, I wouldn't doubt it, blah, blah, blah. She called me not even a week later, and she was so grateful. She's like, I have a brother. He's in Canada. She has all, it's all girls. So, and she was going through something where she kind of needed a male figure in her life that wasn't her dad. And it happened to be that she was going through the same thing, and she is with him all the time. They visit each other. It's really, 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 really cute because he doesn't have any siblings at all.
Well,
And, I'm sure it wasn't very great for her mom, but, she found out that way. And she said it was like the best experience of her life because she knew that she felt like there was something else out there. It's like she knew he was there. She just didn't know for sure.
wow.
So it's interesting. And they look identical.
Looking at what could be my stepsister,
Yeah.
I look at her face and I try not to see a resemblance,
Right.
but I'm
But
sort
you
of
do.
seeing a resemblance. I'm not looking for it, but it's like when I look, it's like, it's not out of the possibility. Let's put it that way.
Have you talked to her over the computer, like Zoom?
Haven't done that yet. This is literally yesterday. Literally
Okay.
started texting yesterday. And she
So,
sent me pictures of her family. I sent pictures and stuff like that back and forth.
there's like so when I don't usually work on my family, but I do once in a while. I just worked on my son. There's a difference though. It's your family. It's like there's a frequency that is, you just know, it's like a shared, it's the same. It's like working on yourself almost. So I think you would know. 'Cause
Um, I was just thinking that as you were talking before you even said that, and I'm not kidding. And I'm getting a vibe. I got a vibe from her that we are truly connected.
Yeah.
There's something there. Yeah, I can't tell you what it is. When we talk energy,
Yeah.
there's a certain energy, and it's funny because we talked about what we do, and I told her what I do, in terms of broadcasting, and she says, "Well, that's really funny because people always say that I should do that because I have a good voice and things like that." And we're joking off, and I said, and she is a counselor, therapist, counselor, and I said, "Well, being really honest with you, people always say that I should be doing that." So
Yeah.
it's like kind of weird going back and forth there, but we'll see where that goes. I don't know.
Is that before or after your mom? The thing with your mom? Or
How do,
was that
how do, how do you mean?
so when you saw the numbers, was that today or yesterday?
Um,
When you asked your mom for a sign?
yeah, it was around the same time. Hmm. Didn't
Mom knew.
didn't connect that. Maybe these numbers connect to what could be my stepsister.
Yeah, could be a random thing, but or mom was just pushing you they our
Hmm.
teams are our guides. They put things in place almost like in an order for us to find or stumble upon, I should say.
Yeah.
They never mess with, fate or step in the way, but and they will, some of them will only step in if we ask. So like our angels and our spirit guides, they have to be asked. They can't interfere.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
families, of course, obviously, there's no boundaries there, so they can, but it's an order. So if she maybe place something in the spot for you to find that.
It's almost like a breadcrumb. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
There's always going to be something. Probably more of them.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I should vibe my dad. I never get anything from him
I was just
that
going to ask you that. I was just going to ask you that.
that I'm aware of, and I'm in the last couple of years more tuned into all of this kind of stuff. Um, but I never really get signs. My mom, obviously, I do. But I probably should push that a little bit harder.
Yeah, I think that especially being a man. Are you Irish? Irish background? Okay. So you're going to have very old school, stubborn. He might feel that he doesn't deserve to do that yet. That's something that you could actually work on. He's not going to interfere. He holds back. He's around, but he doesn't feel not worthy, but a little bit. There's some explaining to do, I guess. Sorry.
Okay. So the fact that you asked that, and I didn't mean to make this about me. I just wanted to
No,
illustrate,
no, this
how
is
the fact that you asked the Irish question,
mm, sorry.
wait for it.
Okay.
This person, the reason that she started this whole ancestry DNA thing was because her son, who is 28 now, maybe still is, was playing basketball in Ireland.
Hmm.
And she and he wanted to know if he had any relatives. And and she doesn't look like she would be Irish. Um, and yeah, so that's where this all started because
So that would be his grandson, right?
yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. So he lingers about. He definitely lingers about, but I think usually they're not going to until you invite and maybe have there's not something that you've not let go of, or vice versa. Couldn't be even for something from you, but it could be for something like with your mom or so once you kind of let that go, he might be more open to it.
Wow.
And even letting go, even if it's like, yelling at him, cursing at him, just saying, hey, this is what it is. Of course, the Italian in me is going to say that because that's how we usually start off anything. And then we kiss and hug and we're good. But
Yeah, but there's
he
nothing wrong with that. I feel that's a purge. Get it out.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you hold, I don't understand. It's hard for me to relate to families that hold everything in and don't communicate with each other because we probably communicate way too much. We probably share way too much with each other, but we never are not on the same page. We might not like each other for a little while, but we always come back together.
And there's
So
no surprises because you let it out. You
exactly
don't hide things and yeah.
right.
Wow.
So and I always tell people explain how we live our life on Earth in this body is pretty much the same when we pass. So you don't want to invite in like when you say, oh, I want to invite in my ancestors. Well, I'm sure there's a few ancestors you probably wouldn't want to invite to a party because they aren't the greatest. It's the same thing when it's with the spirit world.
Wow.
So, keep that in mind.
Thank you for the insight.
You're
Super
welcome.
cool. I guess that's a little bit of the my shamanic journey. I don't know. If
It's
somebody
all,
wants to talk with you, and your insight is amazing, your intuition is amazing, even uncovering some of these things in our lives that we have questions about. How do we connect with you?
you can connect with me. You can give me a call, Facebook, Instagram. My website is www.truesoulhealing.com. And my telephone number is 561-444-2411. Those are good numbers.
I was listening to those numbers and looking at the ones that I'm trying to figure out and wondering if there was a connection there. I don't know.
11 has always been my number, so I see them everywhere.
Me too. Not
It's
even kidding.
an
I am
angel
not.
number.
Listen, 11 is I guess in my world, as I'm told, that is big. And then I moved a year ago, and if you add up the three numbers in my address, they're 11.
Look at your license too. You'll start to notice a theme, like your address is growing up, your phone number's growing up, your numbers on your license, anything that's yours. Look at it. It always kind of adds up.
The
Same thing.
stuff that you're saying, I don't think about, and I don't think other people think about.
I know.
No, it's like, wow, okay. Interesting. All right.
Everything has meaning.
I know. Like we say, there's a reason. There's reason things that they happen for a reason.
Yes.
Jessica, always great talking with you, and I appreciate you and all your insight.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.